Don't miss any content. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell.
Hello guys, welcome back to Sahara Football. We are here at the Accra City Hotel where Akonnor'S has named his first Black Stars squad. Some interesting names and some controversial names also. So we want to hear from sports journalists here at the venue. What do they think about the call-up? Local players who are expecting to get the call-up.
The local players, the local contingent, I think I've always said that the discussion around the number of local players in the national team is really inconsequential. What is important is, are those players better than the other Ghanaian players in the same positions? If they are not, the fact that they are playing locally should not guarantee them places in the national team. I'm looking at those players that have been called up, and I even have question marks over, for somebody like Habib Mohamed. Locally, is he the best centre-back in the league at the moment? And if you look at him, you compare him to a player like Mohamed Salisu, who is one of the best centre-backs in La Liga, and you ask yourself whether he deserves a place ahead of him. Or you look at the centre-back like Zakaria Husseini, for example, Brekum Chelsea's deputy captain. He's had a fantastic opening start to the league season so far. He's not in the squad either, and you can ask yourself whether Habib Mohamed has been better than him. So all of these debates will always go on, but I think that the coach is the one that is making the selections. He has a certain task, a certain mandate that he wants to execute, and he needs a certain group of players to help him do that. If the players he's called up are those that are going to help him do that, I say let's back him 100%. And in this press conference, he has spoken about the need for invited players to show commitment. And for him, if his number one criteria for inviting a player is the level of commitment of the player, I'll give that 100% backing. Because in the past, we've had situations where players haven't been necessarily committed and they've actually showed more commitment towards money rather than play. So right now, if he is emphasizing on the need for every player to show that they really want to play for the national team before he invites them, then 100% I back him. And I think that that seems to be the theme that he's moving towards. Commitment, commitment, commitment. And I think that that's the right way to start.
What do you think about the quality of the squad? Overall, the quality. Do you think they have what it takes to take Ghana forward?
Yeah, I think there's quality all around. Jordan Ayew is in the best form of his life, obviously. Kudus is the best young player in the country right now. If you look at the midfield, nothing exactly new. So I think we all expected this. There were no surprising names in there. So this is a squad that we know very well. Right now, what he has to do is change the attitude of those players, let them show more commitment, and then he adds his tactical bit to it. And I think that if he's good, I think we can achieve great results.
On Twitter, I just checked on Twitter, and people were expecting Justice Blade to be in the squad. What do you have to say about that?
The middle of the pack is really choked, let's be honest. Is Justice Blade better than Baba Idrisu? Is he better than Wakasu? Is he better than Pate? Is he better than Alfred Duncan? So that's the question you need to ask. You can be very good, but at the wrong time, when there are extremely better players. Maybe in another era, Justice Blake can easily walk into the national team. Right now, the middle of the park, that's where Ghana is blessed most with a lot of talent. So, I can understand why people will be frustrated, but if you look at it and you sit back and you analyze things, you realize that Justice Blake isn't necessarily better than all those other players that I've invited in the middle of the park.
Thank you very much. I would like to know your thoughts, your general thoughts on the entire squad ACCRA Akonnor'S has mentioned today.
Well, I'd say that fairly good, okay? Fairly good in the sense that there are a lot of players that some people were anticipating that he brings on board, that he did not bring on board, and there are other players that he himself took the initiative of introducing into the squad, of which some of us have not even had the idea about them, but we've been seeing them playing in other leagues, especially in Europe and in other leagues as well. So I would say that the squad that he brought on board is fairly good. He's going to lead the team. He's the head of the technical team. Obviously, as a coach, at the end of the day, he will be held responsible for whatever the fair outcome of whoever player that he brought on board is going to be like. So I would say that we should give him the benefits of the doubt. He's on course, and let's pray and hope for a better Black Stars under his tutorship.
All right. What do you think about the local players that have been called, and which players do you think should have been called or should have been added to the squad?
Well, honestly, I wouldn't want to go into specifics with regards to the names that he brought on board, or the kind of, if I would say, the local players that we're expecting to see being part of the squad. But generally, personally, I'm of the view that at least the number of local players that he was going to allocate for the Black Stars in terms of the slot should have been not less than 5. Should be at least more than 5, though, but we ended up having less than 5. And I would say that we've started a very vibrant league. The domestic league is the one that we, as stakeholders, we are going to sell out. If we see other players playing in the international leagues, in the European leagues, and they are making exploits, they started from their local league. And I'm definite that at high time we will also project our local league by giving the local players the opportunity for them to also exhibit what they have on stock as well.
So after the squad was released, I went on Twitter and a lot of people were expecting Justice Blay to make the cut. What do you have to say about that?
Justice Blay has been very phenomenal, very clinical for Kotoko, and he is really doing quite a lot. And just like I said, a national team is supposed to have, for major tournament, is supposed to have 23 players. He has been omitted, but let's see what happens. I'm definitely that in his subsequent call-ups to other matches, to other qualifiers as well, we are going to see also a different crop of players being brought on board as well. So let's see what happens. But my only prayer and hope is that at least even with a few number of local players that they've had, tell that he really did his best when he was the captain, and even when he wasn't the captain for the Black Stars. So that is what I'm looking forward to, that having seen his days as a coach during the days of Accra Hearts of Oak, going to Ashanti Gold, having gone to Kumasi, Asante, Kotoko. So if you take a look at it, he has really coached our 2 glamorous clubs that we have in the country. So I would say he has a potential. He really is on course, and we are looking forward to see a very radical, a very transformed and a very robust Black Stars altogether that will end up giving us the performance, and then that we are all looking forward to, and then will end up also giving us the kind of, I would say, our heart desires, because for more than 32 years now we've been unable to announce the title. Our last time that we won the AFCON was way back in 1982. So if we are getting a new Black Stars coach altogether who has been a player, who has coached a lot of clubs domestically, we expect to see something new under his tutorship.
All right, last question. What do you think about the quality of the squad? Do you think they are up for the task ahead?
Yeah, come again?
Quality of the squad.
Honestly, I would say that the names that matter for now, he has made mention of them, they are in the squad. So we look forward to see a team that is really well transformed, of which I'm definite that quality in terms of his tactics, that is one key thing, because you might end up having a lot of players who have the qualities, but you will not end up getting the kind of tactics that will get the best out of them. So I'm looking forward to the fact that he would indeed bring to bear his experience as a player, as a coach, and then even, I would say, as a mentor to most of these players that are currently playing for the Black Stars.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, generally, it's a very impressive squad. I mentioned that this is possibly 90% of the quality players Ghana has around the world. The remaining 10% are players who are perhaps not committed, who have retired from the team, who are not at this point, who are incapacitated to come and play, or out of injuries, or beyond footballing reasons. So this is 90% of what we have, and some new names in there, some local players in there, and an opportunity for the coach to also show to Ghanaians what he intends building as a team for the Black Stars and going into the future. But basically, I feel that this is what some of us expected, and the most important thing is to see them turning out the output on the field of play to reflect whatever has transpired here.
What are your thoughts on the local players that have been called up?
Yeah, I expected it, because these are 2 coaches from the local league directly. These are coaches who recently worked in the local league before they were appointed. For Akonnor'S, it's not more than 8 months before he got the appointment. He was at Kotoko. So they are coaches who have history of the players, the recent players in the league. 2 out of the 4 players who were invited have worked with the head coach before. Habib Mohamed was his player at Ashgold that he brought to Kotoko. Koja Mwakun is a player that he gave a lot of opportunities to at Ashgold. So he knows them, he knows their commitment, he knows their willpower on a day. And I believe that is what we expected. Maybe many more players from the local league to come into his next squad. But it's good to see 4 players from the local league into that team.
Yahya Mohammed was called up to the national team. Do you think he can fit in, because he's a type of player that waits for the ball and he doesn't work that much. He waits for the ball and also good in set pieces. Do you think he will fit into the Black Stars squad?
Well, don't forget he's 32, and you don't expect a 32-year-old who has been going around a globetrotter to be able to play at that level. But he scores goals, so it depends on the coach. How is he scoring goals at Adriana? That's why you invited him. So it depends on the coach to find the tactics or formation that he fits in to give you the goals or the returns that you want. So everything depends on the coach. He's invited the player based on a concept, based on the output of the player. So the coach has to be able to get that out of the player. You don't expect the player to go on the field and say, this is how I want to play. It's the coach who decides the kind of formation that will fit when the time arises for him to use Yaya.
All right. Last question. What do you think about the quality of the entire team? Do you think they are up for the task ahead?
Well, we have Sudan, we have Zimbabwe and South Africa. So qualification to the Black Stars should never be an issue. Qualification for them to the AFCON should never be an issue. It should always be a formality. So that's not where we are. We have our sights set on the AFCON. That's where we are looking at. So they should be able to navigate easily past these teams to the AFCON. And even for their quality, they need to build on, increase the quality, bring in more players before we get to the AFCON. But I feel that this is the quality of players we have now, and they should be able to qualify the team for the AFCON.
Thank you very much.